Okay, how does this look? Oh my word. It looks pretty good, you know. Let me sit back ever so slightly. I think this is perfect. Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. I hope that it sounds okay, and I hope that this looks okay. If you can let me know in the comments if it's any good, because I went out and bought a new camera, and I've also bought a new lav mic, which is a lavalier microphone. It's a lovely word, but it takes a little bit of hassle to say it. Lavalier. Have to really think about it. It's like lavender, but ever so slightly more vocal. But anyway, if you're not yet subscribed to the George Benson football channel, get all the boring stuff over and done with. Make sure you do so, and if you want to get in your predictions for Chelsea versus Liverpool over on the GBFC SELECTS app, link is in the description. I'm not sure who won the £1,000 from the Manchester United game yet, but I will show you the leaderboard in the Liverpool preview. We got a Chelsea news video today. I've got 3 stories, but first thing that I'm absolutely beyond excited about isn't really Chelsea related, but it is heavily football associated. Boris Johnson. You know, that geezer who's the Prime Minister of the UK. He's come under a bit of stick, really, hasn't he, for the way he's dealt with COVID. I won't talk about the virus for too long, but he's pulled something out the bag here, you know. Boris Johnson has said that England is ready to host the World Cup. I mean, as if we didn't know that already, Boris. You know, we've got some of the best football stadiums in the world. Arguably, and this is really going to trigger some people, some of, if not the most passionate football fans in the world. Oh, we're ready to host the World Cup. Oh, Boris, I would never have known it. 2030, England might host the World Cup. That got me excited. And if it did get you excited, hit the like button on today's video. But stop talking about Boris Johnson, Benson. You're about to lose thousands of subscribers and you want to start gaining thousands to hit 200k, so shut up. And move on to the first story in today's Chelsea news video, and it involves Tammy Abraham. It's a story that comes from a newspaper that I wouldn't say is up there in the upper echelon, higher tier of, you know, reputable news reporting, the Daily Star, but they have reported that West Ham United, who are currently a side, sat above Chelsea in the Premier League table. We've got to fix that one before the end of the season. We can't have East London becoming better than West London. That's just not allowed in a footballing sense, at least. I quite like living in East London, but that's a different story for another day. West Ham are interested in signing Tammy Abraham, as well as a couple of other players, according to this report, including Brentford striker Ivan Toney. West Ham, no disrespect to them, they heavily deserve to be where they are right now. They've had a brilliant season, and if they were to go in for Tammy Abraham, I think it would probably bode very well for Chelsea if they still wanted to go out and sign Declan Rice. And the more I watch him play, the more I see West Ham play, I think Chelsea will certainly, over the next 2 seasons at least, if West Ham do get European football next year, maybe Rice stays for another season, but I think that's something that could definitely happen. As for Tammy Abraham, I think at the moment, the fact that he was not even in the squad for the game against Manchester United, people were asking a hell of a lot of questions about this. Thomas Tuchel was very open and quite blunt about it in his post-match interview, saying, selection, you know, some players have got to miss out, and Tammy Abraham was that guy. But the reason I don't think it's just like this rotation thing where sometimes players will be in the squad, sometimes players won't be in the squad, is because he put in 2 left-backs on the bench instead, Emerson and Alonso. You can't tell me that that was some kind of tactical thing. You know, you don't need both of them on the bench when Tammy Abraham, who's your striker, and he's fit, there's something definitely going on there. And whether it is Chelsea's links to Haaland and obviously the social media push behind it, all of the reporting about Chelsea having a £300 million budget in the summer from Roman Abramovich, maybe it's got under Tammy's skin a little bit. And as a result of that, this reluctance to offer him a new deal, Tammy's reluctance to really, you know, push for this new deal, maybe it's at a tipping point right now where Tammy might just be like, you know what, as much as I love this club and as much as I've made it very clear, which he has, that he wants to stay at Chelsea for the future, be Chelsea's number 9 and lead the line for us, it's starting to look as though that is becoming more and more unlikely. As to what I want to happen with this story, I don't want Tammy Abraham to leave. His stats at Chelsea have actually been very good ever since he broke into the first team at the beginning of last season, but I get it, you know, he's already got a proven goal scoring record in the Premier League, and I think obviously Aston Villa would also be heavily linked in him because he was there before, he had a very successful spell under Dean Smith. Before Aston Villa were promoted, he helped them get promoted that season. So it's not as if Tammy Abraham wouldn't have options. I also said that maybe it could be used as like a make weight in the move for Erling Haaland as well. But it's tough because I really love Tammy and I actually really want him to stay. And whether or not he gets all the starting minutes that he would need, I wouldn't be necessarily pissed off if he actually said, I want to move on because I want to be playing first team football. I totally get that, and I'd also be a bit disappointed if a striker who's got the number 9 shirt was just happy to just sit there on the bench week in, week out. So I wouldn't be annoyed if Tammy left, but it would be nice to see him stay, fight for his place. And I still think that there could be a spot for multiple strikers in this Chelsea team. And of course, you always want to have 3 or 4 top-class strikers in your squad. So West Ham are being linked. I think this won't be the first Premier League club that we see reports about Tammy Abraham being linked to. Who knows what's going to happen? It all depends on whether or not Chelsea do get their top striker targets this summer. We move into story number 2. And it is again from the Daily Star, and this one's a bit of a silly one to be honest, but I always like looking at predictions, especially when, you know, Basil Brush, or whatever his name is, gets his supercomputer out and starts predicting the rest of the Premier League season. Now, of course, this supercomputer that I'm talking about has predicted Man City to win the league. I mean, round of flipping applause for that one, as if that wasn't already obvious. And he's predicted Liverpool to finish out of the Champions League places and Chelsea to finish 4th. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if you were to call the end of the season right now, this is the question I want you guys to answer in the comments below. If the season was to end right now and Chelsea get 4th place in the Premier League, would you be content? Would you bite the hand off of the supercomputer to be like, yep, just finish it here? Or do you believe that we can actually go on, play some good football, score a few more goals, which is exactly what we need to do right now, and maybe finish in 2nd or 3rd? Let me know your answer to that one in the comments down below. But Liverpool missing out on the Champions League. It's an interesting thought, but you look at Everton's form, Richarlison's coming good, 5 goals in 5 games for him. Leicester are doing well still. United, I mean, they could play for 0-0s against any of the top half teams and then beat the others 5-0. No worries there. It's going to be very tough for Chelsea to finish in the top 4. It's going to be a proper battle. But let me know what you think of the supercomputer's prediction. And moving into the 3rd/4th story of the day, it comes from Italy, and it's not good news this time, in my opinion. Normally, when we're talking Italy, the other day we were talking about Martin Satriano, the 20-year-old from Inter Milan who's been linked with Chelsea. I'm talking about Tomori, big Fikayo Tomori. It's looking as though Maldini wants to keep him at AC Milan beyond the end of this season. When I see this, and I see, you know, Upamecano signing for Bayern Munich, Chelsea being linked with centre-backs, I don't want to see Tomori be sold for 26 million. I don't know if Maldini is coming out and saying that 26 million is actually quite steep for Fikayo Tomori because, you know, it's a bit of a risk because he's so young. If he watches what Tomori really did at Chelsea, which I'm sure Maldini has done that, the geezer's not an absolute plonker. I thought Tomori was good when he broke into the team. I've said it multiple times here on GBFC. No matter what happens, I want Fikayo Tomori to stay at this club. But you look at what he's doing at AC Milan right now, he seems very happy, he's starting games, it's pretty much a guarantee he's in the side at the moment. So for that reason, similar to Tammy Abraham, where even though you'd love to see these academy players play for Chelsea for their entire careers and keep their places, get hundreds and hundreds of caps, if those starting minutes are not guaranteed and you can get it somewhere else like AC Milan, you cannot stand in the way of the player. You've got to understand that these are footballers. They want to be playing football week in, week out. They're not here to just pick up a paycheck. Well, some of them might be, but you know, I think players like Tomori and Abraham, they've been brought up to be hungry, and at the moment it's looking as though we might lose Tomori. Obviously, let me know in the comments down below if you either back Chelsea getting 26 million for Fikayo Tomori, or if you're like me and you actually believe in the geezer's talent and you'd like to see him stay at the club, Let me know in the comments down below. Another story, which is kind of the final story of the day that might tie into this one a little bit, is Thiago Silva. It's looking as though it's becoming very close as to whether or not he is going to be signing that contract extension. Thiago Silva wants the contract, Chelsea want to give him the contract, and Thiago Silva's agent is obviously very happy to try and push it through to keep Thiago Silva at Chelsea for next season. If this is the case, I still think Chelsea are going to be looking to bring through another centre-back into the first team fold next season. Will that be Mark Guehi, who's currently on loan at Swansea, doing a very good job? Will it be Fikayo Tomori, who's on loan at AC Milan? I think there's more chance that it could be Mark Guehi than Tomori because AC Milan have that option to buy. Mark Guehi is doing very good bits in the Championship, but it is the Championship. So for that reason, I think this summer, Chelsea will certainly be looking to bring in a centre-half. Let me know in the comments down below which centre-back you would like it to be, who you think it would be, and do you think either Tomori or Mark Guehi are good enough to step up into the Chelsea first team fold next season if Thiago Silva does indeed extend that contract. But anyway, going to wrap up this video now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the new camera. Hope it sounds okay. And yeah, I'm hoping that when I do my next live stream, which will be for the Liverpool game, I'm hoping I can rig this camera to my laptop, to my Mac, and get it so that we got a good high quality stream on the old YouTube shenanigans. So stay tuned for that one. Got loads more content coming out this week. Supposed to be filming with Rory yesterday, but we're going to do it tomorrow now instead because we're both busy men. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you all later. Come on, you Blues.